Choy Mois Migdala Bebetimu Kodash Mane Ominoi Sakagali Nasones Lashoshani Mimevino Yemesh Moina Komu Shiru Renonim Ominoi Sakangani Nasones Lashoshani Mimevino Yemesh Moina Agud Voch Raboisai. Do the nishmat Moshe. Welcome, welcome. Agud Voch. Afreil Chanukah. What's your name, Tzaddik?
Mordechai Mintzberg.
From?
From learning in yeshiva in Yerushalayim.
What yeshiva?
There's a new Breslov yeshiva in Harnof. New English speaking, the first one in the world.
First one in the world.
Yeah.
Breslov never had a yeshiva.
English speaking one.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Never knew about this. Okay. Welcome. Who else do we have here? We have a lot of guests. You're not a guest.
I'm a regular.
You're a regular. Show me that you're a guest. What's the last name? Pichevsky. From? Gimmelstein. Another Gimmelstein. Told you. You gotta open up. And what's your? I forgot your last name. Kreinberg. You're friendly with. You're a friend of Mark Ashkenazi.
No.
Back in.
I became a friend of his
Over the Shabbaton. Okay. Everybody's a friend of Mark Ashkenazi. Kreinberg. You think I'm going to remember these names? Wow. All right, Reb Eli. Here's this guy wrote it in Hebrew. I'm not even sure if he wrote it in English and then translated it in Hebrew, but here's the translation back to English. Greetings from Philadelphia. Dear Reb Eli, warm regards. My name is David Badosh. Living in Philadelphia for the past 10 years. I want to extend my thank you, my heartfelt thank you. Exceptional Daf Yomi shir. Had the privilege to get to know you. He says that it's Torah Gdula b'makim echad when you can learn and ski on the same day. I agree. Torah Gdula. It's an extraordinary blend of spirituality and practicality. Learning the daf, quiet hours of the night, then skiing in Park City, Utah. Be'ez Hashem, Bekarv Mamish. I got to go back to Park City for very good reasons. I might have to go very soon. A few friends and I have joined you Daf Yomi in Sanhedrin, and hopefully we could complete Shas with you. It's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi. Wishing you and the entire Daf family a joyous Chanukah. May you continue to spread the great light that changes lives for me and my friends. With great appreciation, David Badosh. Did I show you guys this thing from Sally Forking? This is Yidi Lebovitz's Zechariah Lebracha grandchildren. This is what they do. You know how you all have these kids, not your kids, but other people's kids. They always say, I'm so bored. Mommy, I'm so bored. What do? So sometimes people put on the babysitter. I'm not going to go into that. But here, this is a new babysitter. The girls, the boys, all ages. It's healthy entertainment. The girl is sitting there, mamish entertained. I don't know why. Don't ask. Some people got it. Listen, I got jealous. I figured everybody gets their pictures in the airplanes and this. Why not me? Message, what a Kiddush Hashem and Chizik to see Reb Eli sitting and learning in the airport by a crowded gate, totally engrossed in the Gemara. I got to give a shir. It's not for me. It's not a chachma that I sit and learn. But on the way back to Eretz Yisrael, Chesky drew. Here's the picture. This is unbelievable. There's other people in the picture, but I asked Yoshi to. I don't like the gray on the face. They're gone. They disappeared. They're out of the picture. Stage. This is not stage, Bichlal. This was taken from 50 feet away, probably. Maybe what my sons are doing is staged. Those are my two boys. Yeah. Oh, you want to see I'll show you my son. Actually, I have one of my son listening to the Daf Rabbi Side. This is my bchar. It only cost a certain amount of money. We're not going to go into it again. But Lamaisa, it's working. This is not staged. Killing two birds with one stone. He's getting paid to do the dishes, Rabbi Side. I just chav. He's getting paid to do the dishes. Somebody do a quick calculation. How much is 110 divided by $20,000?
About $200.
$200 to do dishes. No, it's not bad. $180, yeah. You'll do it for 100? You have to pay to do it. One last one, let's see, what is this? Shalom Baruch, I'm still at a high from the amazing Shabbaton. It really felt like a family simcha. The speeches were amazing, especially from my friend Nachman Seltzer, who hit it out of the park after the Friday night Suda. For me, the highlight was the dancing at the Siyum, to dance along with all types of Yidden. Wow. No. Okay. It could be worse. It could be worse. It could be the other competition. That, no. For me, the highlight was the dance, to get to see him, to dance along with all types of Yidden, with the true simcha celebrating Limud Torah. Some people do it b'dafka, like they want to. I'd like to welcome my good friend Ephraim Simchayov, who recently. So this is written by a chassid by the name of Avrumi Leibowitz. He's one of the most famous chassidim that we have, because he was there over like 6 years ago when we started out in Chaniche. This is the one. This is Nachman Seltz's friend that Nachman used to say every morning, "Good morning, Avrumi." So here he is. He says that he just got this guy to do the daf. Ephraim Simchayov, who recently joined the shir and is already proudly recruiting others to join as well. Attaches a picture of Ephraim holding down the Gemara, ready to listen to another daf. Thanks again for everything and looking forward to bring along my family again to next year's Shabbaton. He did Gezinta Hayit Yitalme from Sechtes Mi'ila. Wow, so that is basically almost 7 years, probably, maybe even more, because Bezer Hashem Abed Zar, which is coming up very soon, is going to be 7.5 years. Mi'ila, no. Mila's after. Okay, wrong chashbon. Avrimi Leibowitz, great. Reb Eli said we have an amazing daf today. Bemis, really geshmaka daf. Here's a trick question. It's not a trick question, it's a question. If you heard this question on Friday, please don't jump in. It seems like I have to say it every time. Which woman which woman in history received the most gitin of all time? Anybody want to take a stab? One woman received. Wow, there's a lot of guests. What's your name? Shalom Aleichem.
It's my house.
From where?
Originally from Boston, but now in Yerushalayim.
Yerushalayim. Also in a yeshiva over there.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to tell me that's so fine. That's fine. I don't want you getting thrown out of yeshiva. You got what's your names over there? Yeah.
Aaron Schultz.
From?
Originally Eli, now Hey.
Hey. Gimel Shtayim. Hey. We're in Aleph. We're the originals. You guys are just imposters. You guys are, but it's okay. And you're next to you. Don't tell me you're here for a bunch of times already.
It's okay. You know, there's a lot of people that come out. It's okay.
What's your name? Remind me.
Corda.
What?
Aaron Corda.
From?
Los Angeles and
Okay, Givaldik. Okay, so we're going to see a Moiridik Maisa coming up soon on Amud Aleph of a woman who received maybe the most gitin. When I get there, remind me that that's what a woman who received the most gitin. I don't remember. No. This is a whole yeshiva gave her a get. Every bocher in yeshiva gave her a get. Oh, which reminds me of a great story. There's a guy in yeshiva that everybody told him. They said, the way you act, you'll never get married. And at the end, he showed them he got married the most from the whole yeshiva. It's a good one, an old one. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Loimer. Bishloisha. So we're talking about Kiddush HaChodesh, Iber HaChodesh. What? We're smack in the middle of Daf Yomi Beis. Smack in the middle, the new sugya. We're behind, so we got to move a little bit. And the Israelis are showing up very soon. Not in a half hour, they're showing up in 45 minutes, so we got to start moving. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Omer b'shloisha. Tanya Ketzad Omer Reb Shimon ben Gamliel b'shloisha matchilin. How do you do Iber HaChodesh? How do you decide to add a day to the month? So Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says you start with 3. Then you go to 5. They start debating, deliberating, whatever it's called, the goymer b'shiva, and then you get to 7. You finish it off with 7. 1 against 2. What do we do when it's 1 against 2? What? No, Iber Shon is later on, I think. Yeah. Are you sure? No, Iber Shon is coming up. Chodesh. If you're wrong, I'm going to have to kick you out. If you're right, then we'll let it slide. Where is it? He does? And you said it's Chodesh? Oh, Shana. Okay, so the Rosh Koil is right. No, because I... Torah about what?
What happens if you're wrong?
I get thrown out. Do you want to take over? What happens when I'm wrong? I'm wrong every day. That's the thing. Reb Shimon Gamliel Oimer B'Shloisha. Ibar Hashana, okay? We'll see. It's because I'm holding in a different daf. I'm holding Daf Amud Beis today, but we're going back. This is like 3 days ago's daf. I can't remember yesterday's daf. 3 days for sure not. So we'll try to do it together. Keitzad. Let me start with 3. And then you go back and forth with 5. And you finish it off with 7. If 2 say we should not go through this, and 1 says we have to figure out maybe there's a ibiyar, so what do we do? 2 against 1, 2 always wins. They're the roiv. If 2 say let's sit down and debate this, 1 says no and 2 say yes. So now we add another 2, and you have a total of 5. There's okay, nobody reminded me we were going to go weiter. We'll have to do it a little later. Maybe we'll get with Amud Aleph. We'll do the sponsors. Now you have 5. So now it's 3 against 2. But it happens to be there's a machlekes rishonim here. If let's say all 3 agree to one thing, all 3 agree that you have to do Iber Shana. Do you have to go to 5 and 7? All 3 agree. The Gemara is just talking about if there's 2 against 1, now you have to get to 5. There's 3 against 2, now you have to go to 7. 2 against 3. If 3 say let's debate this and 2 say no, so now you have a total of 7. 5 to another 2. I'll tell you what we do. When I'm wrong, you get one more thing to say. Think share. At the end of the day, you can't have less than 7. Says the Gemara, why do we do it like this? 3, 5, 7. Over here, it's going to be a good shayla on the Rishonim that say that 3 is enough, because it seems like there's an Indian to do 3, 5, 7. One more person. Who is it? Reb Shimon ben Pazi. Reb Shimon ben Pazi is Reb Shimon ben Pazi and one other person. I'm just trying to mess with all those guys that watch this year in 1.5 speed. It's going to be geschmack for them. Why? Because you see that the king has 3 guys watching the door. 5, 7. Says Rashi, 3, 5, 7. Just like when. That's interesting. Hold on, let me see. Oh, yeah, I did skip Bigger's Kahanim. Geschmack. Okay, I have to go back. Now you have to 5 speed. So what's Bigger's Kahanim? Yivarecha Hashem Yishmerecha is 3. Yor Hashem Panav Elecha V'Yikuneka is another 5. Is 5. Yisa Hashem Panav Elecha V'Yosim L'Chal Shalom 7. 3, 5, 7. The other sheet is not from Yivarecha. It goes from Shomer Asaf is 3, Chamishim Roi Pnei HaMelech is 5, Shiva Roi Pnei HaMelech. These are the people that are close to the king. 3, 5, 7. I just want to see, because Rashi says that it's similar to when we do. I thought that's why I thought it's talking about the moon. Rashi says no. Just like we see down here, you have the king and he has all his people that he's close to. So too, Iber Hashanah, he says Mefurish. Iber Hashanah, Tachsisim Malchus Shamaymu. The Yash say that Shonam Amuchayim says Rashi all the way at the end. So we are talking about Iber Hashanah Givaldik. Says the Gemara, Omer le Abaye le Rav Yosef. Abaye tells Rav Yosef, his Rebbe, how come I never heard this from you? This is a new pshat. I know for so many years you never said this pshat. I didn't know that you're interested in a pshat. Did you ever ask me anything? If you ask, I tell you. The story about the Baal Shem Tov, that he was hosted by somebody, and the guy sold whatever he had to, he was very poor. So he had a horse left, so he sold his horse so that he could give something for the Baal Shem Tov, and that's all he had. And it came out to Shabbos, the Baal Shem Tov gave him a hard time. He says, where's Malav Malka? I need Malav Malka. The guy said, I don't have it. So he went outside, he started crying, Hashem, I need Parnasa, what's going to be? So when he came back in, I don't know exactly if money fell from the sky, I don't know that part of the story, but the Shem Tov told him, I noticed that you never down for Parnasa. You have to ask Hashem for Parnasa. If you don't ask, Hashem's not going to give. You got to ask. If you ask, you get. Over here also, you got to ask. If you ask for pshat, I'll give you pshat. You don't ask, you don't ask. Another Litvish story with Yossi Klein Mark. They came to him, a couple came to him and said that their kids are dying or whatever. So he said, don't spoil the kid. This new kid that you have, make sure that he always wears used clothing. Used things, whatever you get from a used bike, used everything. So this is how this kid was brought up, and he never complained. Before his chassan, he comes to his mother and he says, just once, just for my chassan, can I get a new shirt? A new shirt. So his mother started crying. She said, I was waiting for this day. You never once asked me for anything new. And she told him the whole story about Reb Eli, how he said, don't spoil him. Try. She said, every time that I bought you a used piece of clothing, I took the difference of the used and the new and I put it away from you. She took out a whole thing of money. She gave him 22 shekel, whatever it was. Zman nasi tzarech gedi simon. That's the simon. Tana Rabbana. A ma'abrim sashono. We're going to have geshmaka agadata now. A ma'abrim sashono elo b'mizumonim la. You don't do ibur shana. You don't add another month to a year, only with people that are designated for that purpose. There's just, I'll throw this out there because in the kollel that we have here in this building, we used to do something called the mizumanim. Mizumanim is a ger shita of how to remember Gemara, and they're very successful with it. They do a whole sikum, a synopsis of every daf, and then they chazer over the synopsis, and then they go on to the next daf, and they repeat the first, and they have a whole system, and it comes out that you have young guys. You can have a 15, 16-year-old that knows 1,000 daf Gemara by heart. Not word by word, but they know all the musagim of these davim. It's called mizumanim. You could speak to Ger Hasidim, they'll tell you about it. A story. Reb Eli said, I need 7 people to come up to my attic early in the morning. I need them for the Ibur HaChodesh. Ibur Shana. Ishkimu Motza Shmoina. He comes up there, he finds 8. I asked for 7. What happened there? Omar Miu Shalosh Shelei B'Shus Yereh. Whoever is the one that's here without permission, get up and get out. Omar Shmuel HaKoton v'Omar. First of all, Rabbi said, who's Shmuel HaKoton? Is he a Tano or an Amoira? Huh? Amoira, Tana, which one? Huh? He's early. Why? How do you know? What is he known for? Who said that? V'lam al-shinim. He's a Tana. He made V'lam al-shinim. He's also brought in Avis. Shmuel HaKoton Omer. He brings like a pasuk, like al tismach b'mfalei v'ech al tismach. But he's a Tana. V'omar comes Shmuel, stands up, and he says, Ani ushalisi shelei b'rshus. I'm the one. V'loi la'abar shon alisi. You should know I didn't come to be part of the 7, to be the 8th. I came to peek and see, how do you do this? Omar lo yishev b'nishev. Sit. You'll be part of this. You're such a gadol. You should be part of it. Happens to be the reason why I'm upset and I want you out of here is because you have to be designated for this. Says the Gemara, unbelievable thing. And this is really talking to me. This is not Shmuel. It wasn't Shmuel that was the eighth. One of the other guys over there. And he didn't want to embarrass that guy. So he lied. He said, it's me. He took the blame. There's another story. He was in the middle of speaking, giving a shir. Like he heard like somebody playing with a plastic. He heard a funny noise coming from somewhere. And he got all bent out of shape, so to speak. Rebbe. He couldn't. There's a mitzvah with the Shabina Rav, famous story. A Yerushalmi that works in the fish store sat down right next to him in shir, and he just couldn't. He's plotting. And he said, Rabbi Isai, I got to cancel shir. He didn't say why. He just canceled the shir and went away. Because he didn't want to embarrass him. He didn't want to ask him to get up and go. He didn't say, change your clothes. Take a shower before you come here. It happens sometimes. Over here, terrible smell of garlic. Omar mi sho'achal shum yetze. Whoever ate the garlic should get up and get out. There's a story about Reb Eli. Everybody knows Reb Eli. He's like the poster child of Hasmad of our generation. Biggest masmid that we know of. He would leave every one of his child's weddings, like an hour or so into the wedding, he'd go and continue learning somewhere. Like he didn't know his own grandchildren. Well, he's top. Every second counted. He was once in a shir, and there was an elderly person there that had an accident. And he said, he thought to himself, it's also for me to learn now. I can't learn. So rather than embarrassing him and saying, he started saying stories about tzaddikim, like I'm doing right now. I don't know if this is learning, maybe this is learning. He said stories, another story, and another story, and people never heard him say stories. Like, what's story? Reb Eli says stories. Reb Eli is learning Torah. But he didn't want to embarrass the guy. So says the Gemara, Omad Reb Yechiel v'yotza. Reb Yechiel took the blame for the garlic. Omdu kulam v'yotzu. So the entire shir got up and left. B'shachar matzoy Reb Shimon b'Rebbe l'Reb Yechiel. In the morning, Rebbe's son, Reb Shimon, bumps into Reb Yechiel. He's kind of upset at him. What are you eating garlic in front of my father? And you ruined the whole shir. Omar lei, atu shetziarte la'aba. Aren't you the one who caused a lot of pain to my father? Omar loi, loitehek azois b'Yisrael. Never. I would never do such a thing. Who in their right mind would play with plastic in the middle of a shir? Or eat a garlic? Who would eat garlic in front of a Maggid Shir, sit next to a Maggid Shir and smell like garlic? There's no such thing. Says the Gemara, Reb Yechiel, where did Reb Yechiel learn to lie like this and prevent somebody from being embarrassed? Rebbe Meir. Oh, so remember that riddle I asked you? Here's the answer maybe. I don't know for sure, I'm just throwing this out. There's a story with a woman. She bought the basement drushes for Rebbe Meir. She comes to the basement to the yeshiva. Now this woman is not 100%. Well, maybe she is. Listen, she was stuck. This woman is stuck. Listen to this crazy ma'isa. Rebbe, she tells Rebbe Meir, Echad mikem kichani b'bia. One of the three ways to mikadosh a woman is bia. Has to be one of the yeshiva bacharim is mikadosh me b'bia. Now, halachically, she's Eish Ish, but it's not the right thing to do. If somebody uses that way to be mikadosh a woman, you get malchus for that. It's not proper. That's not the way to do it. So she comes in and she says, I'm like a little bit of an aguna. Okay, let's say they talk about it. I'm telling you, they talk about it, and it's any bacher that will get up and say, yeah, it's me. Yeah, I'm married to her. She doesn't recognize any shit, and I haven't been home. Whatever. They used to be do kiddushin, and later on they did nisuin. Later on, so she doesn't know who the guy is. She looks around. She doesn't recognize him. What should she do? It'll be extremely embarrassing for that bacher to admit it's him. Omad Rebbe Meir v'kosav get krisus b'nasallah. Rebbe Meir, obviously, he's not the guy. He's like 50 years older than all this bacherim there, and he wrote her a get. Amdu. So the whole yeshiva kasu kulam b'nasallah. So maybe this might be the woman who received the most gitin of all time.
And she only received one kosher get.
Yeah, you don't ruin my riddle. Only one kosher get, the rest not. Yoeli Doppelt, who was at the Shabbaton, has a very good voice, and he came out with the CD. So one of his songs, it's a story. I said the story before, but it's a Gewaldige story. He sings this as a song. There was a kid in Cheder. Oh yeah, Dave. Yoeli Doppelt. There's a kid in Cheder. I don't know if you remember, at least when I was a child, I always wanted this, the Casio watch that had the 32 buttons on the front. You could calculate 17 plus 7. You could do it on your hand. I used to work for days and years, and my parents didn't have the money, so everybody else in the class had it besides me. It took like 3 years for me to finally. It's one kid, his rich uncle from America came and got him the watch. And he's showing it off to everybody. During recess, he put it in his bag, and during recess, one of the kids came and was very jealous and took the watch. Class is over, and the kid looks and there's no watch. He tells his Rebbe. So the Rebbe says, okay, everybody line up. Line up. They all line up. And he tells them, okay, everybody close your eyes. So they all close their eyes. He says, okay, now take out what you have in your pocket and put it in your hand in front of you. Kitzer, he goes from kid to kid. He finds the watch, he grabs the watch. He says, okay, now everybody, you can open your eyes. I'm not going to tell you who it is. The watch was found. Here's the watch. He gives it back to the kid. Many years later, the kid, the Ganav, bumps into the Rebbe. And he tells the Rebbe, he says, you don't know what you did for me. I was a popular kid. If anybody would have found out that I'm the Ganav, that was it. My career is over. Nobody would look at me. And because of what you did, this chesed that you did, you saved my life. And not only that, he says, you didn't treat me any differently. You were mamish nice to me as if nothing happened. So the Rebbe says, of course, I also closed my eyes. So it says over here, not mevaish the guy. I have to take this seriously, Bamas. When I do it, so you'll put up the sign, Meir, v'chulu. I have a different cheshbon. Sometimes people, it could be it's a bad cheshbon, I'm sure it is, but sometimes I feel like, okay, there's 20,000 people going to watch the shir later. You're doing your shtusim, you're playing your thing, you're saying this. I have to put people sometimes in their place a little bit because of the bidul Torah shabbai. But okay, maybe I'll try to be a little nicer from now on. Be more makbid. Nasan. Because they'll get creases v'nasallah, amdu kasvu kulam v'nasallah. V'remeir mechi gamerlah. And how did Remeir know this? Mishmuel HaKatan. From the story we said all the way in the beginning, that Shmuel HaKatan was an addict. Okay. Mishmuel HaKatan mechi gamerlah. How did Shmuel HaKatan? Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz in the Sicha Yodalid, he says, what do you mean? And Shmuel HaKatan, how do you know it? Shmuel HaKatan is a Tana. He made Vilam Alshinim. So he figured it out himself. You don't embarrass somebody. You take the blame for yourself. How did he know? He learned from this. And how did Remeir know? He says, you know what? Sometimes when you think something is logical, still you need to learn it from a Rebbe. You have to get it by Messiah. It's not so pashat. If the Rebbe says, who is it? Get up, get out. Maybe you have to listen to him. At the end of the day, you need a Messiah. You need to receive it from your Rebbe. Where did he get it from? Mishachni ben Yechiel d'chsiv vayan shechanyo ben Yechiel mibnei Elam vayomer leEzra. Anachnu ma'alem b'lekeinu b'noishiv noshim nechriyos ma'amei oretz. Some, not a lot of people from Klal Yisrael, when they went to Golos, like 200 of them, they married non-Jewish women. V'ato yesh mikveh Yisrael azois. Did I tell you this story though when I was on the gondola in Park City? No, whatever. It's not such a great ma'isa, but I just remembered it here. Sitting in a gondola. And there's like 8 people in this. It's a closed thing, going up to down, whatever we're doing. And I was schmoozing with a snowboard instructor, an older guy, and he says, "So where are you from?" And this thing flashed in my mind. Why should I tell him where I'm from? I have a house in Chicago. Just tell him Chicago. I have to start getting. I'm Jewish, not Jewish. I tell him I'm from Israel. He says, "Israel. I have a sister in Ramat Gan, and I have a brother over here." It's like, and it's Shomer Shabbos. So then I started schmoozing with him. I said, "When was the last time you put on tefillin?" He says, 50 years ago. I married a shiksa, he tells me. Mom was like that. I said, then I looked at his tag, it said Levinson. I said, "You're a Levi?" "No, not a Levi." "Yeah, no." So But he says, no, I'm connected. I did. My son-in-law was in the same gondola, and he's like, I do kiruv here. I have programs. And he's trying to pick up a customer over there. Okay. So they did, no. Until I'm not okay. There's a limit.
You want a sponsor reminder?
Huh? Oh yeah. I need a sponsor reminder soon. Once we're given shenitcha nitcha. So sorry. So what happened over there? So he says by Noshim Achriyos, we all married these Noshim Achriyos. He's not obviously he himself. Shechania didn't marry a non-Jew. 200 other people. He stuck himself in the thing, not to embarrass them, which is a pella. Where did he learn? Yeshua. He learned from Yeshua by a Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Siva Yom Hashem Yeshua Kumloch. Get up. Why are you on your face? Chata Yisrael. Who? It was only one person. Khan. He took the loot from Yericho. One person. Yisrael. I'm not going to tell you who it is. So he says, who? Tell me who it is. I'll take care of him. What am I, Lashon Haranik? Do a lottery and you'll find out. Now a lottery, by the way, if you find out from a lottery, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu telling you. It's one out of, but it looks like it's Al Pi Derech HaTeva. You can learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. Over there was only Dasan and Aviram who were chayta. They took the man on Shabbos. 2 out of the entire Klal Yisrael. Adonam Antem, everybody. Fine, we'll say the sponsors now. The sponsor for Sheleyma for Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. Masechta sponsored Atzlacha Beruknis Begashmius for Atzlacha Beruknis Begashmius. Masechta sponsored by Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim Vieta, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70. He continued for 33 years until he was nifter. Parnas of the Masechta for the unity of the Jewish people. Parnas HaChodesh for fasting complete Refuah Shelaima for Shmuel Nechemia Ben Hinda. Parnas HaChodesh Leilin Nishmas Silya Bas Dvora. Parnas HaChodesh Leilin Nishmas Benimin מאיר Ben Zev David Hashem Yikim Damai. Parnas HaChodesh Leilin Nishmas Zechraya Ben Moshe Leilin Nishmas Zechraya Bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh Yosef Ben Chaisar for Parnas Berevach. The heart of the month. No Parnas HaYom today. For Schos, for Eli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. And the second parnas of the art of the month. It's $5,000 a month. Because I think somebody, Avi Kamenetsky said, and this, the first sponsor sponsored all the art. So I said, it's true that when he found out that we don't have a sponsor for the art, so he sponsored since then. But the art quadrupled since then. We have 4 full-time artists now. In honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work that they do. When the last Nevi'im were nifter, there's no more Ruach HaKodesh. In our days, all the Gdolim have Ruach HaKodesh, but that's different because we're in a much higher level than them. In those, once the Nevi'im, no more Ruach HaKodesh. There's a story about Reb Shteiman. Some group of Bachrim came in, and he looked at a Bachrim and he says, you don't have a bris milah. So they found, he was about tshuva and whatever. He really didn't have a good bris milah. So they went to Reb Chaim Kanevsky. They told Reb Chaim Kanevsky, Reb Shteiman has Ruach HaKodesh, because he knew exactly from the Bachrim that this Bachar doesn't have a bris milah. So Reb Chaim said, it's not Ruach HaKodesh. Everybody could see who doesn't have a bris milah. Anyway, it's not Ruach HaKodesh. They didn't have Ruach HaKodesh, but they used something called a baskel. They were sitting in an attic in Beis Gurya, in Yericho. And it was given to them a baskel. Like Moshe Rabbeinu, there's one of you sitting here is like Moshe Rabbeinu, that could have the Shechina rest on him. The problem is, he's like Moshe Rabbeinu, but the generation is not worthy. The Mashal explains, because he had everything like Moshe Rabbeinu Hillel. He lived for 120 years, he ruled Klal Yisrael for 40, he was a tremendous son of, as we were going to see in a second. Hey Chassid, Hillel Zaken was a Chassid. Hey Yanav, Talmid Shel Ezra. It's also interesting if you ever went to a hesped today, this is nothing compared to what they say in today's hespedim. Here, Galador Hill, they said to, hey Chassid, hey Yanav, end of the hesped. Finished. Chassid Yanav. Okay, fine. The famous story with Hillel, that he was such an Anav, the guy came to him on Erev Shabbos and then tried to make him, he had a bet if he can make him upset, and he called him out of the shower. And he had his Erev Shabbos, and he says, I want to ask you something. Could I ask you? He says, yeah. Why are the feet of the whatever, they're wide? So, oh, let me tell you, because they live on the sand. Kids, but what does that have to do with being an Anavs? They asked, what does that have to do with he was calm, he was patient. He's an Anav. He said, no. This guy, he was Morid Gamachutzef. He kept on coming back and asking crazy questions, and all the tactics of being patient wouldn't work if Hillel didn't think that this guy is greater than him. He really felt that this guy is a big guy. Like he had a nava, or at least he didn't feel that he's bigger and better, and that's why he was able to be patient. The patience stemmed from a nava. Shuv, they're sitting in the attic in Yavne. A basel came. There's somebody here that's Roy to have the Shechina, the generation is not worthy. What's his name? Shmuel Koton. He's Shmuel Koton. He's a chassid, the honor of the Talmud of Hillel. He acts like Hillel in Anav and everything. So we want to show that Shmuel Koton had Ruach HaKodesh. He didn't have it all the time, but when he was dying, he said Ruach HaKodesh. He said, Shimon v'yishmal lecharba, the famous Asura from the Asura Arugi Malchus, Rabbi Shimon Megamliel and Rabbi Yishmael Kohen Gadol, right? So Shimon and Yishmael lecharba, they're going to die, and so they did die. The Chaveroy Lektala and their friends, like Rebbe Kiva, says Rashi, who b'Maser Kodesh Barzel, they took off his skin with hot combs. That's Chaveroy Lektala. V'Sharam Alebiza, the rest of the nation is going to get looted. V'Okon, Sagion, and tremendous tragedies. Asidon Lemesi Alalma will come to the world. Val Yehuda ben Bava, another one of the Asara Malchus. Big Sheleyma came, they try to be maspidim like this. They hey Onav, hey Chassid. Elo shenitver shah, she maspidim al Arugi Malchus. So there's a number of reasons why you don't give a hesped on somebody that was killed by the kingdom. First of all, logically it doesn't make sense, because the king just killed somebody. You're going to say, oh, he's such a great guy. That means that you believe the king is wrong for killing him. So you can't give a hesped. The king will kill you. Also, he could regret. He might do something with the body. Take the body, bury it quickly, and run. In order to add another month to the year, to make it a 13-month year. So again, let's do Chazara. The year has 365 days if it's the solar year. If it's a lunar year, it has 354 days. It's not exact, it's a little bit more. The Jewish calendar, we work with lunar, with the moon, 29 days, 30 days. I don't even know if we have it here. Maybe we do. Oh, we do. Here, just what Yossi did in the past. The difference in the years is 11 days per year, right? 354 to 365 is 11-day difference. And we always want that the lunar year should match up with the solar year. Why? Because the seasons, we want the seasons to be in the right place, as the Torah says, b'chodesh Aviv, that Pesach should fall out in the month of Aviv, in the spring. It just works out with the wheat, with the barley, and the kids are Pesach, and Sukkot should fall out in the fall. So every so often we have to add a Ibriyar. We have to add another month here. Oh, it just happened. 11 plus 11 plus 11 is 33, and that equals another month. So you don't do this unless you get full permission from who's the one that rules Klal Yisrael and Bavel? What's his name? Reish Galusa. In Eretz Yisrael, Nasi. So we're in Eretz Yisrael. This is where you do it in Eretz Yisrael. You need the permission of the Nasi. Gamliel got on Air Force One, whatever it's called. He flew to Syria. and had a little schmooze over there, and he was delayed. He didn't come back. Gamliel was the Nasi, but they were forced to do it without him, but they needed his permission. So they did it on condition that he agrees to it. So when he returned, and he said, okay, I'm okay with it. So retroactively, it was Mu'ber. Sometimes there's different reasons why. We're going to say that you need at least 2 reasons, 2 out of 3 reasons. So a good reason would be to fix the roads, to fix the infrastructure. They're still busy with this in America all the time. Yeah. Go to Kennedy Airport for the next 40 years. It's going to be under construction, guaranteed. FDR Drive, next 50 years. Since I'm a kid, it's under construction. Unions, this, that. Infrastructure, you got to fix. You got to fix the bridges, the whole thing. Some reason, I don't know, here in Israel, in 3 weeks, they put up a bridge, all the roads are finished, it's done. Over there, they're sitting there with the shovels, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about? Anybody from New York? Yes. 1 month. Am I exaggerating that the FDR Drive is under construction since I'm a kid? Yeah. Never does. Okay, fine. That's what happens. You have unions. But, Van Wyck, exactly. So, the belt, the should go over there. And then one of the bridges, I don't remember which, the Kosciuszko Bridge. I'm driving, all of a sudden, there's another bridge right next to it. So they built another bridge, and then they knocked down that bridge. Instead of fixing it, that's two this, the unions told them you have to build another one. They built a brand new one right next to it. Mamish next. Then they $10 billion. Weiter. So, but we'll add another month for the drachim to make the roads, and make sure for the bridges, so that Klal Yisrael could get to the Beis Hamikdash. You don't have a roadway. How are they going to get there? You got to go. They have to be oil regel on Pesach. So you had another month in Adar, and now it gives them an extra month to fix everything. Right. So here's a little picture. You take the sheep, the goat. You put a stick right through it from top to bottom. You can see all the way on the left, top to bottom, and skewer. Put it into this oven. Now this oven over the winter could absorb a lot of moisture. It won't cook well. It won't do the job. So you add another month. And all these people that are coming from out of the country, out of town, it takes a long time to get to the Beis Hamikdash. And you realize that there's so many people on the way, they're going to miss the boat. So you add another month. And you don't do it because of the snow. In the cold, I was watching these Israelis that came to Stamford, Connecticut. It snowed the whole Shabbos in Stamford, right? These guys, they come with the short sleeves, the shorts. No, not mamish. They didn't realize they're coming to America, like it's going to be cold. Mamish, cold. But not for the Jews that thought about going to the Beis Hamikdash, but didn't. Basically, the Gemara is saying over here that you need to take the first step. Everything in life, you need to take you take a first step, then we'll give you extra month. You don't take the first step, garnished. You say, okay, I'm going to join the shear, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes everything else. If you're thinking about it, no. You got to take the first step. We don't add another month to make sure that the sheep are fatter or bigger, because the way it works is you have to be from the menuyim. That's a whole thing in Masechtas Pesachim. We're going to get to Beis Hashem. Everybody has to be a partner in a goat, in a carbon pesach. If the goat, the sheep, only has 3 pounds of meat, and you have 100 partners, what are you going to do? You have to wait until they fatten up a little bit. And not for the sheep that are small. And the birds that don't even know how to fly. You go into the Beis Hamikdash, think about it. You live in Tzfat. Until you get to the Beis Hamikdash, how long does it take you to get to the Beis Hamikdash? It takes you 4 or 5 days to travel. So I'm going to travel all the way to the Beis Hamikdash to bring my 2 birds. I'm going anyways to the Beis Hamikdash for Pesach. Let me bring my birds. But the problem is the birds are not old enough. They can't fly. So maybe add another month. But if I already have a good reason, and in addition to that, I have another reason to make the animals. If it's the second reason, then I'll do it. Then I'll add another month. He said, I'm notifying you that the birds are very small, and the sheep, the goats are very thin, and the springtime didn't show up. Now that's a big problem. Spring is not here, that's a problem. And I feel myself, says Reb Shimon Gamliel, And this is what the Gemara is going to point out. He said, I don't need my friends to help me. Me, myself, it's not as anovadik as his father who said, me and my friends decided this. He says, me, myself. And that's why I added, on this year, 30 days. Now the Gemara is going to ask on the 30 days, Meisvei. How much is the extra month? Reb Shimon Gamliel, he's the one that just said, I added 30 days. He says, Chodesh. Now Chodesh means 29, not 30. What he meant is either or, 29 and 30. The Tanna Kamma says, no, it's only 30. The Gemara says, watch what just happened. Look at the difference between the Kefoi Kadmai, the tough one. Reb Gamliel, the father, was a tough one here. Well, it's not really. Yeah, Reb Gamliel, Reb Shimon Gamliel. That's right. We just turned to Daf Yud Aleph. Let me not forget this one. Turning to the Daf. Innovations LLC. In honor of my uncle Reb Cohn, pressman official, should be a schus for Akiv Simcha ben Feiga, Shidduch for Rivka Yudis Bas Yafchaya, and a huge thank you to Reb Stefansky plus all the brachas. By Danny Klein and Rob Ernst of Elite Israel Realty, welcoming all the Nolui and proudly standing with you on your journey and finishing shots together. So, what was the big anova of the second generation of Reb Shimon Gamliel? So it says that Rebbe, if you look over here, look at this. Who's Rebbe's father? See, Reb Shimon Gamliel is Rebbe's father. Third from the bottom. Reb Yehuda Nasi is Rebbe. He's the son of Reb Shimon Gamliel. So Rebbe comes to Reb Shimon Gamliel and says, Tati, Reb Elazar, the son of Reb Shimon Ben Chaim, is destroying me in learning. He asked me, I can't do it. I don't know what to do. What's pshat? So says Reb Shimon Gamliel, don't worry about it. The reason why he's so good in learning is his father is Reb Shimon Ben Chaim. He's the lion. I'm just a fox. What do you want? So he called himself a fox. So that's another. Rashi brings the Gemara. He doesn't say the whole story, but that's the story over there. But even though he's such an son, look what he said. He said, I decided to add another month to the year. So, but the father is a bigger honor of Reb Gamliel himself. Look at the chart. Who's Reb Shimon Gamliel's father? Ben Gamliel is Rabbi Gamliel, yeah? 5 from the bottom. He was sitting on a stair, something like this. Barabais, on Harabais. So, Yochanan and Sefer, the Sefer was there. And he had 3 letters, 3 like pieces of paper. So he tells the Sefer, write on one of them, to my brethren from the upper Galil and the lower Galil here. I don't know if this makes any difference to you, but okay. By the way, there's a little bit that has to do with Hanukkah because we'll see in a second. Go to the upper Galil, low, tremendous peace upon you. There's something called biur maestros. It's in the Torah that every 7-year cycle. So on the 3rd and 6th year, there comes a stop. We have to give everything. You have to unload all your truma, your meiser, all the stuff, the meiser sheni, whatever it is. You have to get rid of it. And if you don't, you have to burn it. So he sent them a letter. Listen, it's coming up. Get rid of everything. Get rid of all your olives. They had a lot of olives over there. And that has to do with Hanukkah because in Hanukkah it took 8 days to get they had kosher olive oil. That would go all the way to the Galil and back. They didn't have a car. So I guess it took 8 days or so. 4 there, 4 back. And right on the second one, to our brethren from the south, peace upon you. Oh, same thing. This beer is coming, but they had different type of produce. In the Galil, they have olives, but over here in the south, they have you have wheat. Get rid of that over there. And the third one you should write to our brethren in America and London, and all the people in Chutz La'aretz, Israel and everybody else that's in Golos. This is what we want to say. You know the birds are very, very weak. The old skinny little animals, not good for Korban Pesach. And the season of the spring didn't show up. Here, this is just, I don't know what we did here. These are this different. Okay, whatever. B'shvaris milva. Oh, and here it goes. These are the words we're looking for. Ushvaris milsa, and it seemed good to me. It's not to me. Shvaris milsa. This thing is good. Shvar. Ban poi. In my mind, ube'anpei chaveirai. The father says, me and my friends, we decided. We had another 30 days to the year. What did the son, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, say? The Shabbos. Forget my friends. I myself decided to add a. So the father is a bigger anav than the son. And we saw the son was a pretty big anav because he called himself a fax. He told Rebbe, his son, I'm a fax compared to Reb Shimon ben Chaim. Says Gemara, not a great raya. Dilma basa dabru. The famous story that Reb Gamliel was taken away from his position, so that he made him an anav, says Rashi, became nasa anav. Oh, maybe he wasn't always anav. Then he became anav. More the gemaisa about the Alte from Slobodka. When he was in Chutz La'aretz, when he was in Europe, he was known to be a very, very tough. He's very, very tough with his bacher. So one time I loved this ma'isa because when I was in yeshiva, this always used to bother me. There was always like this tzaddik in yeshiva that used to say Yosef for 10 minutes. You know that guy? So there's a guy that said Aleinu like very, very long. The whole yeshiva already finished breakfast and they came back and he's still saying Aleinu. So he waited for him and he looked at him. He said, "Wow, that was a beautiful Aleinu, but you weren't even mechaven to one word." You looking at me like I'm crazy. I didn't say it. He said it. He's one of these guys that's looking around to see how many people are left in the Sanhedrin. Could he finish? Shmuel Nechemia, you know. Like, You weren't even have one word. Okay. He was very tough. But when he came to Eretz Yisrael, I read this in the book about this. Came to Eretz Yisrael, everything changed. Had some sort of skin disease, and he changed his skin. And he took it as a sign that he has to change his whole sheet and chinuch. He stopped yelling and he stopped being tough with them, and he became very soft and that. Sometimes people change. Dilma Basad Abru says, he had a change. He had a physical change. They picked him up. They tossed him out of his job. So that he became an honour afterwards. There are 3 reasons why we add another month to the year. Allah Aviv, because we need to make sure that Pesach lines up with the spring. Val Peres Elon, and because we need to make sure that there's fruit to bring on Shavuos for the Bikurim. Val Tkufa. Tkufa. Here we go. Beautiful. Gewaldig. There are 4 seasons in the year. Each one is 91 and a quarter days. That adds up to how many days? 365. The names of these 4 tkufas is Tishrei, Teves, Nisan, and Tammuz. We always want that Pesach, check this out, Pesach should fall out in the tkufa of Nisan. Those never change, Rabbi Isai. It's 91 and a quarter days. It just stays. It's always 91 and a quarter, 91 and a quarter. It never changes. We don't add, it just is. It is what it is. Now you see over here, take a look at Sukkot on top and Pesach on the bottom with the matzah. This is no good. We got to do this. We got to make sure that Pesach ends up in the tkufa of Nisan. And that Sukkot, which automatically they're half a year apart, will end up in the tkufa of Tishrei. That's it. That's all. So now you can go to sleep. Because no. A lot of people hear the word tkufa, they remember Rosh Hashanah. There was a whole shir. I brought a bicycle wheel and this. No, it's not. We don't. Where is it? That was awesome. That was awesome. But we're not getting into that. This is a smaller sugya. It's just a mention here. So if the tkufa is really off, if your Nisan here is like this, so we got to make another year. We got to add another month in order to push off Pesach, and Pesach will be pushed into the Nisan area. That's great. There's another thing called Aviv. Forget that. The spring, the wheat, and Pesach has to be in the springtime. If you have 2 out of the 3 reasons, 2 reasons, then great. If only 1 reason is not enough. If the spring reason is there, then everybody's happy. Why? Because you want what happens is you can't eat people are upset if you add another month to Pesach, to Adar, then that means you can't eat the new crop until Pesach. The second day of Pesach, we bring the korban omer, then you can eat all the new wheat, all the new barley. If I'm pushing off a month, I'm adding another month, then I just worked, and I can't eat it. It's very bad. But if stuff is not ripe, aviv, it's not spring yet, so nothing's ripe anyway. So I'm very happy. I'm happy that you added another month. So now he says, this is a typical Gemara. He throws in two words, alat kufa. What in the world? Is he arguing? Is he adding? Is he asking a question? What is he doing? Iboilu. Alat kufa smeichim. Did he say, you're wrong? It's not the pshat that everybody's happy when their spring lines up with Pesach, but rather everybody's happy when the tkufa lines up with Pesach. What's the difference? In other words, he's saying because people, if we go back to Tishrei, that tkufa is very important. Why? Because what happens here in Eretz Yisrael on Sukkot? Usually happened to us. What?
Harvest.
When does the rain start? It happened to us once on the first night of Sukkot. But usually right around Sukkot time it starts raining. It's terrible. If you don't have a car and you have to come from Tzvat to the Beis HaMikdash in the rain, it's horrible. So we need to make sure that Sukkot is in the tkufa of Tishrei, and not over. Not in the place where it's already winter. That's why. Maybe that's what he meant, that they're happy. Or maybe what he meant is, you don't need two reasons, Rabbi Yisai. As long as you have one reason, says Reb Eli, and that reason is a strong one, called tkufa, meaning season, then I add another month. Teiku, I don't know what he meant. Tanu Rabbanan. Three cities in Eretz Yisrael, you can do a Ibriyar, you add another month. Yudav, Ibriyar, Yardim, Agal. These three. Ashtayim and Ma'abrim. Two of them, you'll do Ibur. Avalachas mem Ma'abrim. For one of them, no. Ubizman Yehuda achas mem. But if Yehuda, which is like Yerushalayim, is one of them, Akol Smeichem. Everybody's happy. She'ein Omer ba Elam Yehuda. L'chatchila, you can only bring the Omer from Yehuda. Now Rashi brings that there was a time that they had to bring the Omer from outside of Yehuda. And that be'etzem is Chanukah, because it's interesting, just to throw this word in, that how long did the Chashmonaim rule? Anybody?
200 years.
It's less. I think it's less. I think it's 100 and something. 103. No, a lot of people say 200. Maybe I'm wrong. What?
The Rambam says over 200 years.
I don't know. I don't want to be wrong twice in one share. Okay, look it up. I'm going to go with 103. You say 200? It's the Rive. Two say like this, one say like that. The Rive wins. 200. Fine. So for 200 years, because they rule for 200 years, you make such a 8-day party, 8-day thing. So they say that the real simcha that we have is the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed us light in the darkest of all places. That's the simcha. That simcha has nothing to do with how long they ruled. In that the 10 people were able to conquer a mighty army, the United States Army against 10 people. It doesn't show the light, they found the oil, whatever it is, the light in the darkest places. That's the simcha, not the fact that they ruled. Because the fact that they ruled 200 years, in terms of history, that's not such a tremendous, wow, we should make 8-day simcha because they ruled for 200 years. We had better than that. So the Gemara, are you using up your second thing now? Where?
The beginning, the two now.
Oh, that's it. We're done. Says the Gemara Rabbanan. Ein ma'avris hashanim ela b'Yehuda v'mibru b'gala mu'beres. Where do you do Ibur Shanim? Where does this take place? In Yehuda. If you do it in Galil, no. Hey, imibru b'gala mu'beres. And he says mefurish. If you do it in the Galil, no Ibur. Omer Reb Yehuda b'Reder Reb Shimon Pazi. My time of the Chanani Yishoynoi. What's the reason? Let's see if anybody knows. Where does it say the Shichnoi Sidrishu of Vasashama? Menachem? You're 2 for 2 today. Not bad. It isn't Ray, but it's not fair. It's your Bar Mitzvah Parsha. The Shichnoi Sidrishu of Vasashama. You go over there to the Beis HaMikdash, that's Yehuda, called Drisha Shat Doiresh. when you, how do you say Jewish in English? When you seek, thank you, seek. Should be close to the Beis Hamikdash. Oh, we got to finish here? We should finish here? What?
1 hour.
Right now, okay. Rabbi Sai, have a gewaldike Chanukah, a good Voch. Thank you for coming tomorrow at 7:10.